Oh, hello. Hey, it's Niall, and what I want to do in today's video is talk a little bit about the hustle culture. What do I mean by that? I mean all these kind of entrepreneurial self-help guru people online who are telling you you must work harder, you must hustle, stop sleeping so much, get out there and do the work, and that's how you will be successful. I think that's kind of bullshit. So we're going to look at a few examples of that today. We're going to look at 4 people in particular. One is Casey Neistat. We're going to look at Gary Vaynerchuk. We're going to look at Elon Musk. And we look at a dude not as well known, Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, I believe they call him. Let's start with that guy. Here's a video of his that I came across a few years ago. And he's basically talking about what it takes to succeed.
You need to understand that what I'm about to tell you to do, I did it. I lived it. So if you want to make 6 figures, you can't just be talking about you want to make 6 figures. And if you do what I'm about to tell you right now, you will be able to accomplish whatever you want to academically, financially, relationally, whatever.
And you know what? I should give this guy credit. All of these guys really that I'm going to get into, they're all fantastic in many ways, and I admire them in many ways, and they've helped me in many ways. I just think they're a little bit extreme.
It was a young man who, he wanted to make a lot of money, and so he went to this guru, right? And he told the guru, I want to be on the same level you're on. And so the guru said, if you want to be on the same level I'm on, I'll meet you tomorrow at the beach at 4 a.m.
I'm actually going to summarize this story. Basically, it's about this guru who brings this guy who wants to be successful to the beach, puts his head under the water, and the guy is struggling to breathe, and eventually he picks him up and says this.
When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I don't know how many of y'all got asthma in here today, but if you ever had an asthma attack before, you short of breath, you wheezing, the only thing you trying to do is get some air. You don't care about no basketball game. You don't care what's on TV. You don't care about nobody calling you. You don't care about a party. The only thing you care about when you're trying to breathe is to get some fresh air. That's it. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
Let me repeat that. When you get to the point that you want to be as successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I have an issue with that. I don't want to be that successful. As bad as I want to breathe, I mean, you'd have to be a little bit crazy to want to be as successful as bad as you want to breathe. And as well as that, I mean, it's not like you suddenly start to want it really bad and then you're successful. No, you still have to put in a ton of work going ahead. So that's not the only factor.
And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep.
No, we don't. Sometimes you just want to get some sleep. I mean, I don't see what's wrong with that. And also, if you don't want it, he's saying most of you don't want it bad enough. Well, what are you supposed to do about that? If you don't want something, can you make yourself want something? Like, you can't want what you don't want. Like, how do you develop that? I think what he's overlooking here is that some people are kind of born with that, or born with the capacity to develop that drive. And a lot of people aren't.
Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you've got to be willing to give up sleep.
Sometimes, yes. You've got to be willing to give up sleep every now and then, but not all the time, right? Just occasionally you push through and you get stuff done when you're tired, but not all the time. I mean, look at this. Sleep deprivation on Wikipedia. Chronic sleep restricted state can cause fatigue, clumsiness, weight loss, weight gain. Here's all the physiological effects it can have. Seizures, mania, irritability, increased risk of diabetes. Here's nature.com with a whole bunch of stuff on sleep deprivation, impact on pain sensitivity, sleep loss causes social withdrawal and loneliness, sleep deprivation linked to blood-brain barrier disruption, tired bees make poor dancers. Busy as a bee, turns out even bees need to sleep. How about this one that basically says that when you're sleep deprived, it's like being drunk. It impairs your judgment that much. That's not a recipe for success, okay? That's a recipe for doing stupid things, for making really bad decisions because you haven't had enough sleep. And here's one from NPR, short on sleep could be a disaster waiting to happen. In this one, they talk about how sleep-deprived operators failed to prevent the Chernobyl nuclear power plant meltdown and the Exxon Valdez oil spill. Until you give up sleep, you're not going to be successful. And being successful means causing catastrophes like Chernobyl or the Exxon Valdez oil spill, apparently.
You got to be willing to work off for 3 hours of sleep, 2 hours. If you really want to be successful, some days you're going to have to stay up 3 days in a row. Because if you go to sleep, you might miss the opportunity to be successful. That's how bad you got to want it.
I'm getting tired just listening to this. Stay up for 3 days in a row or else you'll miss the opportunity. If you stay up for 3 days in a row, you're going to be so sleep deprived and so out of it. You're going to be like a zombie. You're not going to see the opportunities that come up.
Listen to me. You got to want to be successful so bad that you forget to eat. Beyonce said once she was on the set doing her thing, 3 days had gone by. She forgot she didn't eat.
Okay, so it's not enough to just give up sleep. You also got to stop eating. Okay, otherwise you can't be successful.
I'll never forget when 50 Cent was doing his movie. I did a little research on 50, and 50 said that when he wasn't doing the movie, he was doing the soundtrack. And they said, when do you sleep, 50? He said, sleep. Sleep is for those people who are broke. I don't sleep.
Interesting. Let's see how that turned out for 50 Cent, shall we? On July 13, 2015, Jackson filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy with a debt of $32,509,549.91. You know what probably happened there actually? 50 Cent probably took a nap, and because he was sleeping, he got $32 million in debt. So let that be a lesson to you.
My flow, my show brought me to go. That brought me all my fancy things.
All right, let's move on from Eric Thomas and look at everyone's favorite YouTuber, Casey Neistat. So this is a video from 2015, I think when he was still doing his daily vlogs. And again, let me be clear, I really like this guy. I love most of what he says. His vlogs are amazing and very inspirational much of the time. But his advice isn't always right for everybody. In fact, I think it can be harmful for many people if you take it the wrong way.
That is a fluorescent light that hangs above my office door that says work harder. It also says the same thing tattooed on my wrist, just in case I forget.
I'm thinking I'll get a tattoo on my wrist that says, take it easy or take a nap.
I know that this is crazy person talk, but the truth is, the only time I really get bummed out or depressed is when I'm not being productive, is when I'm not accomplishing or doing or contributing in any way. Nothing makes me less happy than relaxation and sitting around with nothing to do.
That's fine, okay? That works for him, but very few people are wired that way. So if you ever feel lazy or unmotivated, that doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It just means that, well, you're normal, really, and you're not a freak of nature, and I mean that in the best possible way, like Casey Neistat.
Last is purple, and purple is like fun or partying or playing video games. That's purple. Here are your 24 hours.
Okay, so now what he's doing is laying out a typical day, all 24 hours, and showing how he spends his time.
3 hours of exercise. Okay, then I get home at 7 p.m. and that's when I do family time. From 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. I'm back at work. And I sleep from 1 a.m. usually till about 5 a.m. And then I get up at 6. From 6 to 7 is when I do email. So then that's sneaking in 1 more hour of work. So this is my day. This is what almost every day looks like. There's a slight shift in the weekend.
I mean, what the fuck? Seriously, that's 4 hours of sleep. Again, I showed you that sleep deprivation studies. That's pretty insane. That is not normal. And for most people, if you try and do that, it's going to be like you're drunk all the time. You're going to be like a zombie all the time. So if you try and emulate Casey Neistat and you get pissed off at yourself because you can't keep up that level of energy and productivity, you're doomed. You're doomed. It's not going to happen for most people. So again, I think the danger here is that you watch stuff like this, and if you don't have that drive, if you don't have that motivation, if you don't have that level of energy and enthusiasm, you feel broken. You feel like there's something wrong with you.
So why wouldn't I want to maximize my time as efficiently as possible to be as effective as I can with that? And that is why I say free time is the enemy of progress, because free time sitting around is not doing. And that's why I try to omit that entirely from my life.
Not doing is okay. You realize that, right? You don't need to be doing something all the time in order to feel good about yourself. It's okay to sit around and take some time to think. It's okay to sit around and listen to the birds singing. It's okay to read a trashy novel every now and then. It's okay to watch a crappy show on Netflix. All those things are okay, right? You get that. Free time is the enemy of progress. I don't agree, okay? Sometimes you just need free time to unwind and just let the world come to you instead of constantly pushing, doing. For most people, that's not going to have good results. Obviously, for Casey Neistat, it works great, but he's an exception. He is exceptional, and again, I love the guy, but I do not want to emulate him, because if I tried to emulate him, I'd go fucking crazy. I would have a mental breakdown and my life would fall apart.
Seneca said, it's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. That pretty much sums it up.
All right, next up, we're going to look at perhaps the best example of someone who's all about work harder, hustle, be productive, and that is, of course, Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, this video I'm going to show you is actually about 10 years old, but it's always stuck with me.
So if you have a feel, if you want to do it, I don't want to hear about this 9 to 5 bullshit. I don't want to hear about this job thing, right? 9 to 5, I don't have time. If you want this, if you're miserable, or if you don't like it, or you want to do something else and you have a passion somewhere else, work 9 to 5, spend a couple hours with your family. 7 to 2 in the morning is plenty of time to do damage.
7 to 2 in the morning, when are you going to sleep? If you're working a 9 to 5 job, you got kids, you got to be up at like what, 7, maybe earlier. So you're working until 2, you probably need a little downtime, time to unwind before you go to sleep. So maybe from 3 to 7, maybe you get 4 hours sleep. Most people can't do that. So when you're giving this advice to thousands of people, only about 1% are actually going to be able to implement that advice. And not because they're the only ones listening or they're the only ones taking it seriously. It's because they're the only ones who have capacity to do that.
I used to work in a liquor store from 7 in the morning to 10 at night for 7 straight years, and the only days off I took were to watch the New York Jets. And you know what that did? It made me throw up on myself, so that wasn't a vacation.
Okay, I mean, that's a great line, right? And he's a great speaker. And there's times when you need someone like Gary Vee. You do. You need someone with that kind of like hard talk, take no prisoners, push through at all costs. You need that sometimes to push through and get your shit done. But not all the time. More often, you're going to need someone a little bit more moderate, okay? A gentler approach. He worked in a liquor store from 7 in the morning till 10 at night for 7 straight years. That's brilliant. Fair play to him. That's amazing work ethic. That's amazing hustle. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone wants to do that.
Stop crying and just keep hustling. Hustle is the most important word ever. And that's what you need to do. You need to work so hard.
And I actually remember hearing a friend of mine, his dad worked in a restaurant for 30 straight years, never took a day off for 30 straight years, worked morning to night in this restaurant. That's hustle. That's hard work. Guess what happened? He had a heart attack in his 50s. So he hustled more than anybody, and look where it got him. I don't think that's success.
I got lucky. My DNA is weird.
Exactly. His DNA is weird. And that's fantastic for him, but you can't emulate that.
If you're doing something else and you want to do this thing you love, you do it after hours. You work 9 to 6, you get home, you kiss the dog, and you go to town. Right? I mean, you start building your equity and your brand and whatever you're trying to accomplish after hours. Everybody has time. Stop watching fucking Lost.
Again, that's a great line. And he's right sometimes. But sometimes you need to watch fucking Lost. Or whatever the latest TV show is that everybody wants to watch. You need that sometimes, right? You need your downtime, you need to chill out. You can't be productive 24/7. You get burnt out. It's as simple as that.
If you want this, if you want bling bling, if you want to buy the jets, if you want to do shit, work. That's how you get it.
And I totally agree with him there. You do have to work, but not at all costs. Right? You don't let the rest of your life fall apart. You don't become sleep deprived. You don't give up eating because you're too fucking busy. You don't tell all your friends and family that you don't have time to meet up with them. You gotta live, right? I mean, what's the point in doing all this if you don't actually get to enjoy life? And yes, sacrifices have to be made. I get that. If you want to be super successful, you're going to have to make sacrifices. But there has to be a little bit of room to enjoy the journey. So I'm not dismissing the whole work ethic thing and work hard. I work quite hard myself, I like to think. I work quite long hours, I like to think. not compared to these guys. And if I compare myself to these guys, I'm gonna feel like shit.
Stop crying. Stop crying. Stop crying.
All right, let's do one more. This is a interview with Elon Musk, the legendary Elon Musk, from a few years ago as well. And he's talking about work ethic and what you can do to be successful.
Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week. If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you know that you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, the math works there, right? Except it's kind of like saying, hey, if you want to be a better basketball player, just be taller, right? If they're 6 foot and you're 6'6", you're going to have an advantage. Yeah, but not everybody can be 6'6". Not everybody can work 80, 100 hours a week. Not everybody has the capacity to do that. And look, here's an article about Elon Musk and what working 120 hours a week really does to the body and mind. He hasn't taken time off in years, sometimes resorts to using sleep medication, told the New York Times he felt exhausted, alternated between laughter and tears at several points in the recent Times article, sometimes stopped talking altogether, possibly overcome by emotion. I've had friends come by who are really concerned. I mean, is that what we want to emulate? Sure, the man is doing fantastic things. I'm glad he exists in the world, but I would not want to be in his position. I wouldn't even want to be a friend of his or a family member, because holy shit, you're seeing the guy drive himself into the ground. You can technically function on very little sleep, but you won't operate at your body and mind's highest levels. You'll struggle with focus, you'll get sicker, could shave years off your life, you'll become less productive, less creative, you'll make room for only short-term fixes, you'll become less efficient. Musk admitted to sometimes taking Ambien. You'll become the worst version of yourself. And there's a story here about Arianna Huffington from the Huffington Post. She's a big advocate of sleep now, and that's because a few years back she fainted from exhaustion because she wasn't sleeping enough, and she cracked her jaw off a table and woke up in a pool of her own blood. This hustle lifestyle, always be hustling, always work hard, doesn't sound so glamorous when you think of it that way. And it turns out that the people who only need 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night, there's a term for those people. They're called short sleepers. There's a gene responsible for this. It's a mutation in a gene called DEC2. And people who have that mutation just need to sleep less, and they can function at high levels without loads of sleep. But as this article shows, those people are about 1% of the population. So my theory, my little hot take here, is that people like Elon Musk, Casey Neistat, Gary Vaynerchuk, Eric Thomas, these are all short sleepers. These are all people who can thrive, not always, but most of the time they can thrive on much less sleep than most of us. 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours sleep a night, they can be grand. That's a great thing for them. I admire them, but I'm not going to compare myself to them. And you shouldn't compare yourself to them either, because you're not going to win in that comparison. You're never going to measure up. You're always going to feel shitty about yourself, because these guys get more done, they're more energetic, they seem more motivated, they want it more. But that's not your fault, okay? So please, 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 please stop comparing yourself to these people, right? These high energy overachievers. Please stop comparing yourself to them. Take some time off. All right, go chill out, watch the sunset, listen to the birds sing. Okay, these are beautiful things in life. Don't be missing out on them because you feel like you have to work all the time to measure up to someone like Casey Neistat, Gary Vaynerchuk. Let them be them. Let them do all the crazy mad shit in the world that they want to do, and you do what's within your capacity. All right, I think that'll do it for today's video. I feel like I need a nap after all that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm trying to grow this channel. Your thumbs up, your likes, your comments, they help other people find this stuff. If you would like to hear more from me, if you'd like to see more videos, then you can subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, which is down there somewhere, and hit the little notifications bell thing. Apparently that helps as well. I put out a new video every week, and the next one will probably be about numerology. So I'll be back with that next week. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you then.